Thank you, Nancy. Hello, everyone. I'm Sue Renault, and I'm the editor of OLLILife Live, our online newsletter. We welcome you to the March broadcast and especially welcome our newcomers to OLLI. Welcome to the third, I think, ever online broadcast at OLLI. Today, I've asked newsletter veteran Judy Ayton to get us started. So Judy, take it away.
Hello, I'm Judy Ayton, and I have the pleasure of introducing a new OLLI feature. OLLI, a place where friendships grow. Several years ago, OLLI member, a South Dakota original, and Shirley Wagner and Linda Elmore got on board a tour bus in the Herring Center parking lot to go to Jonesboro, Tennessee, where they plan to attend the wildly popular International Folk Storytelling Festival. Now, at their first stop, Chumley Cope, who was their guide, introduced Shirley to someone named Christy Johnson. Shirley, what did he say to you?
He said, Shirley, I bet you didn't know there was another OLLI member on this bus from South Dakota. Of course, I thought he was kidding. He said, she has a question. Where did you graduate from college? And I said, Dakota Wesleyan University. Christy replied, so did I. We discovered we'd grown up 60 miles apart. I was a farmer's daughter. She was a farmer's daughter. For the rest of the trip, we talked nonstop. Linda, Christy, and I have begun a friendship that continues to this day.
Did you ever see Christy after that Jonesboro trip?
Yes, I see her a lot. But in 2018, I got a phone call from her and she said, what would you think of taking a road trip to South Dakota? And I said, when do we leave? And not long after, we were visiting friends and family in Sioux Falls, Chamberlain, and Pierre, which is the correct pronunciation of our capital. And that's Christy. We decided we had to have our pictures made where the corn is as high as the elephant's eye.
That's cute.
I can only describe this trip as absolutely wonderful. We three are now fast friends, planning a celebration reunion when COVID is over.
Oh, yes. Well, we're all anxious to have those reunions too. Thank you, Shirley, for sharing your thoughts on our very first OLLI, a place where friendships grow. And if you have a friendship that you would like to talk about, please let us know. And now it's time to talk with Ann Doyle because she's got some reflections on a memorable recent OLLI activity. So take it away, Ann.
Okay, the OLLI Social Committee created a winner last month when it invited members to a Zoom Yappy Hour. Bring your furry friends, they were told. More than 20 members showed up with cats on their shoulders and dogs in their laps. They learned about the Morris Animal Foundation in Denver, Colorado, which funds animal studies to improve the health of wild and domestic animals around the world. Everything from tuberculosis in elephants to rehabilitation in sea turtles. Social Committee Chair Naomi Downing's beloved Golden Retriever, Rosie, is part of a Morris Foundation study about cancer in dogs. 60% of Golden Retrievers are impacted by cancer, according to a Morris Foundation spokesperson. Viewers can learn more about the Morris Foundation at morrisanimalfoundation.org. The Yappy part of the program consisted of OLLI Zoomers introducing their pets and sharing stories of rescue and love. We met pets who knock over Christmas trees, some who talk all day, some who insist on sleeping under the covers with their humans. Some were camera hogs and some were camera shy, but everyone was clearly adored by the folks in whose arms they wiggled and wagged. Thank you, Social Committee, for this terrific event.
And thank you, Anne. Before we move away from pets and their people, I want to share a couple of pictures that Charlie Ennis sent us of his cat, Hobbs. We asked Charlie to tell us Hobbs's story. So Charlie, there. Oh. Charlie, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Jane and I found Hobbs through Foster Paws Rescue in Greenville. He's named after the stuffed tiger of Calvin and Hobbes, as he has the same white face and little white chest there that Hobbs has. He loves to explore, darts out through the garage door, or hops the gate to the basement. He's like Jack Reacher, keeping time in his head. He reminds us when wet food time is approaching, or heaven forbid, when it's past. He runs over to his food bowl and meows, comes back and sees us, and meows again until we figure it out. Hobbs greets us happily each morning, rubs against us, sits on our laps for companionship and warmth, and waits patiently at the garage door for one of us to reappear if we're not currently in the house. He watched patiently as I typed this note up and sent it to OLLILife. And as you can see, he also watches my Zoom classes with me. So, and he's right here right now, sleeping on the other side of the computer. So I can reach over here and grab him and let you see him live. Hang on.
Hey there, Hobbs. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks to you and your smart cat, Hobbs. And now back to Judy.
It's time for Time with Nancy, when our OLLI director, Nancy Kennedy, gets to answer all of our pressing questions. So Nancy, the really big question we're all asking now is, it's spring. What can you tell us about getting back into our Herring Center classes and what's going to be involved in transitioning back to the good old days?
Yeah, that is the question that we all have been asking. You all should have received an email from me this week marking that it had been a year since we had to close our doors, and what a year it has been. And we miss seeing everybody in the building so much. It's so quiet here. Y'all are noisy, we've realized. But we are working towards getting people back, and we're doing that in several ways. There is a committee of members headed up by Sally Bourne-Mueller, who is our immediate past president. The immediate past president serves as a long-range planning committee. And this year, the long-range planning is doing some short-range planning and thinking about getting back to OLLI, to the Herring Center. And so that's divided up into subcommittees who are thinking about curriculum, about the facility, about social events, about when we can travel again, all the different pieces of our program and how we can bring that back to some in-person events and in-person learning and gathering. So that's going on. And we are also working with Furman to think about the protocols that are here at Furman. When Furman thinks we can be able to invite visitors to campus, which would include OLLI members. They do see OLLI members a little bit above regular visitors, but we people who are not the students, faculty, and staff. So we're working on that, and we are very hopeful, and I hope to have an announcement soon that we will be able to have a few in-person classes in June. So we would have a mixture of classes in June. We usually have about 20 classes in the summer. We would have some of those fully on Zoom, just like we've done now. We would have some fully in person, and we'd have some that were hybrid, which means that you would have people sitting in class with the instructor in an in-person class, but people could also Zoom into that class at the same time. And we have the technology here to do that. So we are excited about that possibility. Still getting the pieces in place, but it's looking really good. So watch your email for announcements. And then assuming all of that goes well and the numbers in Greenville continue to trend downwards, they're going the right direction, people are getting their vaccines and all of that, we would hopefully roll that out in a larger
And
way.
24th.
In the fall.
My name is Lars Christensen, and
so we are looking forward to that. And it won't be exactly like the old days, Judy, for a while. We might still be wearing masks. I don't think we'll have a coffee pot while we're still wearing masks. So, but we will be able to see each other in person and wave across the room and all of that. So we're looking forward to that. And then as conditions continue to improve, we can add more things like coffee. So that's what we have to look forward to.
Aha. Well, that's good news. Coffee is important eventually, but right now, seeing everybody face to face is really important.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right.
We appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
And so, if you have ever read OLLILife, which I suppose you have, you know that whether it's yappy hour, happy hour, or fun with friends, there's a wine that goes with that. And Bernie and Cindy Showman are here to tell us about some of their favorites from regions we're not familiar with. So Showmans, do your thing.
Thank you. It's easy to get stuck in a routine of buying the same old mass-produced California grocery store wine. And maybe that wine costs more than it used to.
Well, we're here to help. We have 3 suggestions of less popular wine regions that produce quality wines at value prices. They are in Spain, Argentina, and Italy.
Spain is always a good source of quality value wines. The well-known regions of Rioja, Ribera del Duero are in the northern part of the country. However, there are up-and-coming portions of Spain in the eastern part of the country in the Mediterranean influenced area. And these are even better sources of values. We like to look for wines from Jumilla and Yecla. These are 2 towns that are adjacent to each other, and they're about 50 miles from the Mediterranean coast. The wines from these towns are a blend of Monastrell along with lesser amounts of international grapes such as Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, or Syrah. They usually cost about $12 or less, and they're delicious. Recently, we've been enjoying the Parcelica Grande, which we found at Total Wines for $11.99.
Argentina is best known for red wines, Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon. However, we like their white wine made from the Torrontés grape. This is a crisp, oak-free wine with fabulous aromas of flowers and citrus. The wine is dry and refreshing and can be enjoyed with or without food. We've recently been drinking Phoebus Torrontés, which is $10.99 at Total Wine.
Italy is the world's largest wine producing nation. Wine grapes are grown in every region of the country, and wines are made from a large variety of grapes at every price point. Chianti Classico is a region in Tuscany where Sangiovese is the dominant red grape. We've been enjoying the Castellini Chianti Classico Reserva. It's a great buy At Costco, it's only $13.99, and we expect it will be there.
We hope you'll give these wine regions a try. Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to you, Bernie. Cheers to you, Cindy. Thanks very much. And if you want Bernie's blog address, at the end of our broadcast, we'll have a list of links, and you can get yourself a little more information about tips for choosing your wines. And now I'd like you to meet Marie Eldridge, and she has some tips for you as well. These are tips for a really exciting program at OLLI. Marie, it's yours.
Thanks, Sue. Have I got an offer for you? Would you like to know more about how local and state government work? Or maybe delve into local topics such as housing, transportation, and economics. Maybe learn more about Greenville Health Services, or understand more about the physical and psychological aspects of aging. And there's more. Then this OLLI Senior Leaders Greenville program is perfect for you. The 9-session program runs monthly from September through May. It begins with an orientation in August. Each month, you will meet with like-minded seniors at sites around Greenville to hear from experts in all the fields I just mentioned. And there's always time for questions and answers, and breaks to get a cup of coffee and enjoy lunch and chat with classmates. My husband Ron and I are graduates of Class 2. Believe it or not, we joined 1 month after we moved to Greenville, and we are so glad we did. We met interesting people. We learned so much about our new hometown. We found opportunities to volunteer, and we never looked back. Senior Leaders Greenville is a unique opportunity. Please think about taking advantage of it. Recruiting for Class 7 begins in April. Watch for details in OLLI Notes. That's it for now.
Thank you, Marie. Our next reporter, Jessica, you'll have to tell us, is our next reporter available? Is he here?
He is.
Okay, wonderful. Our next reporter is Jim Hammond, and he knows Greenville like the back of his hand. Here, we're going to have a photo here of Jim and Elizabeth enjoying the view of one of his favorite places at Table Rock State Park on the North Carolina-South Carolina border. Jim, tell us about this wonderful, beautiful spot.
Table Rock State Park was an important part of my youth. Our family was of modest means, and the swimming lake was a magnet on hot summer weekends. Today, it's an important retreat to people looking for a scenic setting where they can walk a few miles and drink in some of the most beautiful nature in South Carolina. There are 2 benches on the water's edge on the south side of the lake that feature a panorama of the swimming beach with the Table Rock looming in the background.
Jim, tell us a little bit of the history of Table Rock.
The state park opened in 1938. Its log buildings were constructed by the Civilian Conservation Corps during the Great Depression. A Facebook friend of mine said his second great-grandparents grew corn where the lake is today and made whiskey from their produce. In prehistoric times, the region was inhabited by indigenous people, the most recent being the Cherokee. My third great-grandparents, Joel and Jane Jones, were immigrants from Ireland. They settled near Table Rock and are buried on the farmland where they raised 11 children. Table Rock is a grand park, a natural treasure, and only about 45 minutes from Furman. A wonderful place to take a hike.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks so much for sharing this wonderful place. And now it's time to have David Johnson, our OLLI president, say a few words. David, what is our OLLI president thinking about today?
Well, I'd like to thank you, Sue and Judy, and all the people who participated in this OLLILife broadcast. As you said, this was our 3rd one. This past year has been one we all won't forget. I recently read a minor baby boom is predicted over the next 9 months. Then in 2033, they expect parents will experience an influx of quarantines. Something we can look forward to.
An influx of what?
Quarantines.
Thank you.
I hope you have all signed up for some interesting OLLI spring courses. There's still time to register for those to start next week. I want to thank all our instructors who keep finding new ways to adapt their classes to the Zoom environment. And we all look forward to seeing our friends in person in the not too distant future. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, David. And thank you all for joining us today. Please join me with a big hand for Judy Ayton, for Shirley Wagner, Ann Doyle, Charlie Innes, Bernie and Cindy Showman, Marie Eldridge, Jim Hammond, our OLLI President David Johnson, OLLI Director Nancy Kennedy, and all the yappy and purry others who contributed to OLLILife, and also our OLLILife tech directors, Jessica and Jenna Justice. And if you'd like, linger a while over the last slide. And as I said, we have some links that you can use to get in touch with Nancy for more information about the seniors in Greenville. And there's a link to some of the other articles that we've been talking about today. So thank you for coming, everybody. Glad you're here, and wear your mask.
Thanks, Sue.
So I'm Sue Renault saying, see you in May.
Wonderful job.